Hey, welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. And as we say here in Hit Talks, good morning or good afternoon or good evening because of all of the time zones that we are covering. So welcome to this episode of Hit Talks Live on the 30th of April. And we have again another amazing lineup of 8 speakers. 8 speakers speaking from the heart on hope, inspiration and transformation. And they are literally going to be sharing their messages. They're going to be sharing the messages with you so that we can give you hope, so that we can give you some inspiration, that we can give you perhaps some golden nuggets that can transform and help you within your journey as we call life, especially in this new journey of the new world. So Hit Talks, yes, thank you so much for every single person here watching the live, every single person watching the replay, and every single special person that is live behind the scenes in the Zoom room for joining us. Hit Talks is all about the power of 8. It is all about bringing together 8 amazing people from all over the world. We have on this episode, we have speakers from Mumbai, we have speakers from Canada, we have speakers from Belgium, we have speakers from Queensland, we have speakers from South Africa, we have speakers from Romania, we have speakers from the UK, all in this one episode, sharing their stories for 8 minutes. 8 minutes, why 8 minutes? 8, the power of 8, infinity, abundance. It's the money. It is about money, but it's the figure that brings everything together. And this is what it's about. We are here to bring all of you together into this space to listen to these stories of hope, inspiration, and transformation. And I want to really share with you that Hit Talks is not prepared. So all of these speakers have been asked to come on without any preparation and without any selling or any positioning. They are literally here to share from the heart whatever comes through. And we run these Hit Talks all around magical energies to do with the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar is something that I love and I follow and has truly, truly changed my life. And the day that we're broadcasting today is all about the new journey. We are on a day of a new cycle, which is all about traveling. It's all about exploring. It's all about the journey. Now, really, we are all on a journey of life, aren't we? And our journey sometimes takes us down paths that perhaps are dead ends. Sometimes it takes us down paths that are perhaps covered in trees and debris. It's really difficult to get across. And sometimes it takes us down paths that are maybe going with a little bit more grace, flow and ease. But it's being aware of these paths, it's learning from these paths, and it's sharing the story from these paths is how together we can really transform lives. So again, my name is Vicky Thomas, and I really, really am proud to have every single one of you with us here at Hit Talks. So why don't we start off with our speakers? As I say, we've got 8 amazing speakers from all over the world. And we're going to start with not just a speaker, but somebody who's very, very, very dear to my heart. Not only my bestest friend in the world, my soul sister, and an absolutely amazing being that is actually helping so many Hispanic entrepreneurs and English entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs worldwide in her vision of literally together is better and bringing people together. Now, Veronica has been on Hit Talks many, many times. She's always there in the background to support me. She's always in the background to support women to be the best that they can be. So babes, I'm so glad that you're with us again to kick off this amazing episode of Hit Talks. And I now give you your 8 minutes.
Okay. I'm here. Perfect. Well, thank you, Vicky, my dear. You said that I've been here so many times. I'm so many times as nervous. It hasn't changed at all. But for me, it's an honor to be next to you, behind you, all our journey together since I met you. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5 or 6. But it's been quite of a journey, right? So I think friendship, or our friendship, it is as gold. And I wanted to start this talk, as you see, without preparing, just from my heart, about what He Talks means to me the first time last year when it came, live, your baby, as you call it. So it is amazing how you've been growing and you've been helping through it, and how many speakers we have been here with you together, sharing our stories. Sometimes a little bit painful, but to go through and just rise. And it's been, I have met so many amazing people to connect. As I said, connections are everything. Connect. When you think about connecting, sometimes it seems easy for people, some people, for others, it's not easy. Sometimes we are outgoing with our smiley faces, that I could be like that, but sometimes that smile hide pain behind it. So I want to tell you something from my perspective and how I was transformed to inspire and to give hope. So to give hope, to inspire others, you have to transform. Rumi says that your heart have to be broken many times to be open. And when I read this phrase, I thought, it makes sense, because it reminds me the 3 times in my life how my heart has been broken. The first time, it was when I was a little teenager, when my dad and my mother got divorced. It changed my life completely. It did. I was 14 years old and I grew up like a rebel with a cause. I felt lost and I felt different, and I felt like I was disconnected to myself. But how can I know that I was disconnected to myself, to the greatness, if I was 14? I couldn't. I was not conscious about it. Then the second time was when I was 20. I suffered from an abusive boyfriend, which obviously I didn't realize, or I realized I did, but I couldn't get out of that because I was not conscious about it, or maybe because I thought that I deserved to suffer, to have my heart broken many times. The third time was here when I came to Belgium. I am Venezuelan and I've been living 21 years abroad. So all the fears of this woman through when I was 14, then 20, having a violent relationship, then growing up in a foreign country brought me just insecurities, which I hide behind a big smile and being funny. When I read this, you have to have your heart broken so many times so it can open. I understood why I was through that situation, but it was till I get conscious about it, about my shadows, about my complex, about my fear, and all this 100 numbers of things that I was hiding, is when I realized that I was not conscious at all, that I was to transform, that I wanted to be more than that, that I'm just a broken heart. And I know that you've been brokenhearted. I know. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. Not only because you don't love yourself, because you don't find yourself, because you don't know what to do with your life. Maybe now with this year that we've been through, really with uncertainty, incertidumbre in Spanish. So how I overcome all this is just about loving myself. But how to love yourself if you don't even know who you are? So I just reach out with people that saw that light within me that I couldn't. I wanted to change that phrase from Rumi. And I just understood, and I'm just understood that life is like your heartbeats, like your heart, that rhythm. Just touch your heart right now and feel it. Feel it right now, please. Can you feel it? Dilatation, contraction, dilatation, contraction. And that's the rhythm of life. It doesn't have to be contracted all the time because otherwise you will die. So I understood with help of others, with love, to transform the pain in love, to have compassion to myself, and to feel this rhythm every time. Contraction means that you have to learn, you have to hold it, you have to see what's going on, what to learn about the situation. Dilatation is to transform, to expand, to love. I invite you today to feel your heart, to look for help if you don't see the way out. As me, I realized that I could help myself, that I could lift me up. And by that, to serve an inspiration to others to be conscious, to be compassionate to others. So I changed the phrase and I said, yes, you can break your heart, please, a couple of times, not many. Transform, feel love, open your heart, connect it to your mind, and help others. But first, help yourself to shine. Together is always better. Thank you.
Thank you, my love. And yes, together is better is your motto. And, I think there's so many people within this room and watching the live and watching the replay that I think you feel it inside, as like Veronica said, is that if we're really honest with ourselves, every single one of us have been through this heartbreak, this heartache, and for me personally, I know there's a couple of people here in the room that knows one big heartbreak that I've actually been through. When we're talking about dealing with people, and then when you deal with the people, you look at this heartbreak and you just think, how on earth can you transform from this? And at the time, you might feel that there is no way that you're able to transform. Perhaps there's just no hope. And this is the thing. There is hope when you surround yourself with the right people. There is hope when you actually there, when the people are there to lift you up and support you, and together is better. So thank you, V, for sharing that. And it's also so lovely that we can be vulnerable in the right space with the right people, with the right loving, and it takes inner strength. And I know that V does the work, and a lot of people that when you do the inner work, that gives you the strength to be able to shine. And then when we're able to shine ourselves, we're then able to help others shine the light on them. So shine the light on themselves. Yes, of course. So thank you so much, V. And this is going to really spread, flow. It's really going to flow amazingly into our next speaker, because our next speaker, Rashani, is all the way from Mumbai in India, and she's been on Hit Talks again a few times, because when you have people that really want to spread hope, inspiration and transformation from their heart in everything that they do, they automatically get attracted to Hit Talks, and we automatically get attracted to them as well. And she is all about speaking her truth. Now, she's just done an amazing book and with the Truth Awards, and we actually are partners as well with Tahira in the Truth Awards as well. And it's great to have you here because you really do speak from the heart. You really do really inspire to transform others, and that is what we're all about. So thank you for getting up at 1:30 or 12:30 in the morning over there in Mumbai to be with us, my love. And I now give you your 8 minutes.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for having me once again over here. And I love this opening that came about when I came for the first time on Hit Talks. And I would like to repeat that for everyone out here. That hope and you shall renew. inspire, and you shall lead, transform, and you shall conquer. So, namaste everyone. This is Roshni Shanaz, and yes, it is about 1 a.m. in Mumbai, India. And I'm extremely honored to be here with all you incredible souls gathered from different parts of the world, from different time zones. A teacher is someone who imparts the knowledge for a subject, an aspect, or for life. Someone who nurtures us and nudges us, always standing by in those bylines, guiding us when we are going wrong. And I had some amazing teachers in life and felt extremely blessed to have them, because they have contributed to being this person who is on screen sharing this. But I would like to ask everyone, did you know that the biggest teacher of life has been inherently built in within us? My master and God, Meher Baba, says the truths absorbed by the mind in the life after death become in the next incarnation a part of inborn wisdom. Different souls start with different degrees of intuitive wisdom as their initial capital for the experiments and adventures of their earthly careers. He goes on to say, when you feel something as intuition and have no doubt about it, then know it is real. Passing doubtful thoughts and temporary emotional feelings should not be given importance. But when you feel it touches your heart, follow it. When it is from the mind, it is not intuition. Intuition means that which comes from the heart. In the divine path, first there is intuition, then inspiration, then illumination, and finally realization. Quote close. I have personally experienced this growing transition, at least from intuition to inspiration, and the rest of it is yet work in progress. For me, intuition is like carrying this ingrained software which is connected to the cosmic energy. That reservoir of that, or that main satellite, tower house, which is like the guiding force of the higher power within all of us. And just like the external teachers that I shared earlier about, I was told in one of my meditative channeling that intuition is the inner tuition teacher, a tutor who is all knowing, whose wisdom is limitless and timeless. It was this inner tutor that helped me have this unfettering faith, which slowly kind of expanded to become this tacit conviction in the inspiring ways of this crazy unfolding of my life. It it like inspired me to realize my true purpose of this whole existence, and recounting those manifestations that followed, honoring my intuitions, I saw myself being inspired every step and compelled to introspect, declutter, and kind of throw out everything that otherwise would block this soft divine whispering tutor within me. And then slowly over these last 12 years of my spiritual expedition, I realized that the inspiration has to do something actually which is established when one has paid heed to that inner voice of guidance. It is that intrinsic quality I got to know of that very voice within to propel me towards those inspired actions, but only once we have decided firmly to honor it. Each soul I have seen in all these years have their own unique ways of communication with this intuitive, unfolding of God's voice within. But the challenge, my friends, is to begin implementing the inspired actions that the intuition guides. I wouldn't say it was easy peasy to follow those, you know, persisting, lingering voices going on within me, which asked me to leave my glamorous films and media job at the peak of my career to follow my spiritual calling. And all the more reason it was overwhelming because of the fact that it was shouting out from within to take this seemingly completely irrational step when I was almost more than deeper ground zero in life. With close to rupees 1 crore in survival and medical debt, an 85-year-old father to care, a closing of a relationship to stop block disappearance of people who I called friends, just like we have on Facebook, friends, everybody is friends. I could not think of anything more that could go wrong in my life. It reminded me at that time that when you are below ground zero and hit down there, the only way left is to go up, just like what we are today in life through the pandemic. And during that time, I grasped an absolutely new facet of inspiring intuition. And that was the facet of divine courage to put the intuition into action. Today, my friends, my life is entirely lived through this inner voice, which in turn activates the qualities of love, compassion, tenacity, discipline, discretion, and courage to take those requisite steps as and when. But this blessing of being guided every step yet leaves space open for my soul's evolvement to learn and go through my own metamorphosis. And when I look at all these decades of life that I've lived, it brings me back to what Meher Baba had described. That the soul, quote unquote, the soul in its more advanced stages of the journey toward reuniting with God reaches a level of clarity and purity in which uncluttered intuition is present all the time as a clear higher source of knowing. How amazing is that? Quote closes at knowing. So respect your intuition, I would say, and inspire the world by being a living example of it. How much ever you may be forced to feel otherwise, I would only say through my experience, don't budge there. Love yourself, put on your best shoes, and take that gallant ride. It is the real intuitive creative you that needs to shine on. And get the world to listen to your voice and your hit talks. So with that, I sign off with a very, very big namaste from Mumbai, India, whose essence means the power within me bows down to the power within you. The intuition within me bows down to the intuition within you. The inspiration within me bows down to the inspiration within you. Thank you, good night, and Godspeed blessings of healing, love, harmony, and wisdom to our country and to the entire world to courageously transcend this biggest collective karmic lesson that we all are going through. Thank you for having me.
And we bow down to you, my love, and thank you for being such an advocate of Hit Talks, and thank you for sharing your story. And it's amazing when you know, you didn't know what we were going to talk about. You didn't know I was going to talk about the journey of life. And you know, when you're talking about implementing your journey, you're talking about the rational steps or the irrational steps that perhaps you took. And that's the thing, isn't it, about the journey, the inspiration, and the hope that you're giving others in sharing your message. Implementation. Did you notice I stopped that? Implementation, because that's what inspiration is about. We can inspire people. We can inspire people with implementation. We can inspire people with action. And that's the thing. Give them the inspiration. Give them the tools to be able to take action. Give them the hope to be able to take action. And then we are doing what we can do collectively in this world. So thank you so much for sharing that amazing story. And as I say, when we talk about flowing through, you would not think that we were going to be able to transform the energies all the way from Mumbai all the way to Queensland in Australia without the technology that we have. Now we have this technology, now we have Zoom. We can literally travel the world. We can literally spread our messages of hope, inspiration, and transformation absolutely everywhere. So I'm so pleased now to be taking the stage to Queensland in Australia, where my good friend Adam, who we did training together in the Quantum Flow, we've done a lot of energy energy work together, and he is doing so much in the world. And he's also a martial art expert as well. So you better watch out if you get on the wrong side of Adam. But there is so much more about everything that he's doing in life to actually support people, to actually inspire people to be the best version of themselves. And he does it in his own way. That's what I love about Adam, is that he literally just pulls people in and he literally transforms and helps inspire people in his own special way. So thank you, Adam, for being with us at this first episode for you at Hit Talks Live. And I now give you your 8 minutes, my friends.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you, Vicky, for having me here. I hope you can all hear me. I think I'm unmuted now. And yeah, it's an honor to be here. And I've watched Hit Talks, and yeah, it's a great platform, and it's a beautiful platform that we can collectively share our message, and that's what it's all about. And hearing the first two speakers, that was amazing. Coming on today, I never really prepare for anything. I like to speak truly from the heart. As always, I like to guide, and I just like to let the energy guide me and the room guide me wherever I am, whether it's live or online. So yes, hope, inspiration, transformation. So yes, I think growing up, a lot of us had different lives. We come from, you know, good and bad lives. I went through my parents divorcing when I was 8. So that had a massive impact on my life. And I become a very, very angry young man. So I got into martial arts early, but I used to fight. It was just all for fighting and dispersing that anger. It wasn't until in my early 20s that I learned the martial arts dispersed the anger. It wasn't for fighting. And then I got right into training. I met my wife. I actually taught her. She was one of my students. And, you know, I broke the rules. I don't encourage it, but I did break the rules back then. And anyway, we're still together today, 27 years later. She puts up with me. But she was the main one that really influenced me in my spiritual change. And, you know, I grew up in a Christian faith as well. So I was very stuck in openness and awareness and being open to the realms of infinite possibilities. And once I was with Helen and we started going through, we got into Reiki. We did Reiki and energy healing, and, you know, it got me opened me right up to Eastern philosophies. And there was a lady that said to me a long time ago, I was very, you know, dogmatic and very tunnel visioned on, nah, that's not it. That's evil. That's good. That's bad. Nah, close the door, shut people down. And, you know, and I would upset a lot of people, and I didn't mean to do it. It's just that my nature would come across that way. So this lady said to me, Adam, just open yourself to the possibilities that all can be. And that was an amazing transformation for me, because I went home and I meditated and I pondered on what that actually meant. And it meant that you didn't have to shut everything down. It meant that you weren't always right. It meant that someone's truth wasn't necessarily your truth or the right truth. But if you opened your mind to the possibilities that all could be, it allowed the energies to flow, and it allowed the universe to allow you to explore yourself at a deeper level. You didn't just get caught in the mindset that, nah, that's it. I can't go that way. That's evil. You know, that's good. You have to stay on this path. It allowed you to explore, and it allowed to open up the spiritual realm and my transformation. And that didn't just happen there. That was pretty much a golden nugget, and a time where I went, yep, that's where I'm changing. So now from that time, I've studied a lot of stuff and gone really deep with the Qigong, my own meditations. And what I've found with the martial arts is, you know, a lot of people, especially men, we get into it to disperse anger, and we get into it to fight or for revenge. And women that come in for the women's self-defense and stuff like that, they've been beaten and they come in for revenge or to go back and you know, hurt someone. And there's nothing wrong with that motivation for coming in. But what we got to do as leaders and guides is inspire people to actually transform that energy into themselves and learn to love themselves. And that's the next thing that I really started to learn, that if you want to inspire and transform, you've got to love yourself first. And that's not always a hard thing, because sometimes we've done things that, you know, might not be great, might not be, we might have hurt people, and we've got to forgive ourselves first and foremost for that. Once we can start to transform into self-love, learn who we are, love ourselves for who we are, be totally, totally grateful for what's going on right here, right now, manifestation and transformation just happens. It just flows. It just flows into the universe. And we start to become the person we were meant to be. We start to live our dream life. Things just start to happen. Manifestation happens. People, the right people, come into our lives. And then along the way, yep, there's ups and downs. It's never, ever going to be a constant ride. It's up and down. And that's the journey of life. And it's when we hit those lows and we come back in and our anxieties come in, that I've found that I really need to dig deep and honor that. And they're our little triggers. They're our things. That's the universe or whomever we believe in going, hey, that's what you've got to work on. That's what you've got to be grateful for. And they are the golden nuggets. It's not the highs that are the golden nuggets. It's these lower points. It's these things. And that's where the epiphanies come in. And when we can take that and grasp that, and go, yep, that's what I need to work on. Oh, that person triggered me. When we work on those areas, that's when true transformation happens, because we now start to look at us. Oh, what in me's made that happen? And it's mirror work as well. And it's what in me has attracted that person? What in me has attracted that reaction? Why have I triggered that? Why have I reacted like that? And as soon as we start to do that, that's what I've found. Yep, I change. So all my teachings, teaching Kung Fu and Qigong, changed from changing my attitude. And I want to finish off on a little story. And it's, I haven't got long to go, but years and years ago, I was working working for a company, and I'd upset the boss and all these things. And I'd done things. I lost all trust from the boss, from taking days off and being angry. And anyway, I come home, I did a meditation, I did some Reiki, and I worked on myself. And I had the belief that if I change myself, I can change the boss's thought. And I promised him, I said, look, I'll change the way you think. He said, no, you won't. No one can change me. And I didn't change the way he thought. I changed the way I thought. And I changed my attitude, and I changed everything in me. And in a month's time, I had my own run on this job. I had a company car. I was looking after the whole Southern Gold Coast elevators, and he just went, he didn't even really know what to say. But by changing me, changed him. And that's how we make a difference in the world. Don't expect to change someone. Change yourself first. Look at yourself. Take responsibility for you. And then we can become the best version of ourselves. Thanks for having me today. So grateful for being here, Vicky. It's been a great journey with you. As she said, we've done Quantum Flow together. That's an amazing modality. That made a massive difference in my life. The last 12 months have been amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Be totally grateful for where you are right here, right now. Love yourself for who you are. And thanks for having me, everyone. Bye.
Hey, thank you, Adam. And yes, how many of us try and change other people? Now, I've tried to do that many times. How many of you out there have tried to change your husband or your wife or your partner or your children? Crikey, I used to do that all the time. If only you could be like that. And that's the thing, isn't it? Once we learn to notice that it is, and be aware that it is only us that can change ourselves, change our mindset, then things change around us. Which reminds me to the serenity prayer, which I literally have all the time in my mind, because all about us granting the serenity to accept the people that I cannot change, because we can't change other people, but we can have the courage to change ourselves, and our courage to change ourselves, and the wisdom to know that it is us that can only change. So that's when we think about that, then we can even then take our journey, because we are on the day of journeys, then we can take our journey to a place with more grace, flow and ease, when we accept that it is only us that we can change. So thank you so much for that amazing reminder, Adam. And flowing through all the way from Australia. Where are we going next? We are going back to South Africa. Yes, so we have South Africa with us in the house again. And again, this lovely lady, Marie Christine, has been part of Hit Talks before. And I love the advocates of Hit Talks that keep wanting to come back and share their story with us. Now, her story, when she shared last time, made me cry. She is a person of true change. She is a person of inspiration. She has been through so much, and she is literally making massive impacts within the world. Her heart just literally sings when you get to know her. And when she actually goes out there in the world, sharing from her heart the way that she delivers her message, then that is really how we get hope, inspiration, and transformation into the world. So Marie Christine, thank you so much for being back with us, my love. And I now give you your 8 minutes.
Thank you very much for having me again. It's nice to be at Hit Talk. I needed a platform for this period of COVID-19. It is very special for me also for this month, the month of April. Nikki, just a small correction. I'm not from South Africa. I'm from Rwanda. And we are all Africans, but I'm from Rwanda. I survived the genocide. And this month of April, all the Rwandan communities commemorate the genocide. Many, they remember their loved ones who died during that atrocity. And as a trauma counselor myself, I've been busy helping many Rwandans who have been bleeding since 1994. So, but there are also others like me who have found hope, who have been inspired, and have been transformed by many people. I would like to take opportunity to thank Philip Sykes from the School of the Prophet. His messages, his teaching have also brought a big transformation in my life. So this evening, I'd like to talk about you, to share with you what helped me to overcome that tragedy, what helped me to be healed, restored, and I can now be an agent of transformation. And I'm not going to share this with you also. I'm going to impart to you that ability that I received so that you too can transform others, starting from within, then you'll go transform others around you. So you may have heard about the genocide of Rwanda, where nearly 1 million of people died in 3 months. I survived that tragedy. I lost my loved ones, my possessions, my culture, my many things. I had even lost hope. The dreams, I lost my dreams. I had to run for my life, cross the countries, most of the time on foot, with my daughter on my back. Where to go without knowing the destination. It happened months and months without a pass, without luggage. So starvation was there, abuse of human rights on the way, desperation. But now here I stand. What happened in between? From Rwanda, very soon my book will come out. It's called From Kigali, which was my country capital. From Kigali to Kensington. Kensington is in the UK. That's where I ended up. It was not that easy to start a new life in a new culture. Everything had changed. The class you were in was no longer the same. Becoming a refugee, despised by everyone. You don't know where you are. Get lost, culture shock, everything. And not also having the the comfort of being surrounded by your family, it was very painful. Our skills were not recognized. We couldn't get jobs. But there is a hope. There is a hope that help I got, and I'd like to share that with you. So I would like to share with you how faith in God helped me much in my resilience and in my healing. So I got to know God, to have a personal relationship with Him. And I was able to hear His voice. And I was able to understand that He's the one who created everything and He knows everything. He knows me, He has my future in His hands. So I got hold on Him. Indeed, I've never been disappointed. I was able to become who I was meant to be. The lost dreams were recovered. I overtake. Not only I overcame, but also I overtake. I overtook all that was for me, all that I was meant to have. So please, it happens. I did not have hope, even not only for myself, for my child, that she would become. But who knows what is ahead of you? If, like Hiroshina mentioned, if you can only hear that voice and follow that voice. It happened to me like it happened to her when I had to leave my career to follow that voice. It did. When that voice would tell me, take your children to study in Switzerland, in those top international schools, when you know you don't have any money. But then, the same God who gave the knowledge and understanding to your children could open that door and that would happen. He's the same God who would tell me, go to this country and go, I will share this message, maybe to refugees, to camps, but in that camp, there would be an assigned person to be a blessing to you. There is hope, but I wish everyone can reach out to this same God that healed me from, I was bleeding, I was scrapped. I didn't know I would survive. I didn't know that daughter would have hope. She nearly died in my hands when we were running and I couldn't have any food. I couldn't know what to do. But now she's thriving in master's in artificial intelligence from Oxford University. So there is hope to the hopeless. There is a transformation that can be if we really believe in God. So I invite you, please, if you know, you feel stressed, depressed, it doesn't matter if there is a COVID-19. It doesn't matter if there is a war around you, but there is hope always in God. And that faith in Him will cause you to be transformed, but also to be an agent of transformation to others. So I wish you the best. And I wish you can reach out for yourself, but also for others. Thank you very much for having me.
You are welcome, and thank you for coming back and sharing your story of hope. Now that really is a true story of hope, and you know, when we speak personally and you just see the love that you give to people to help them have hope and help them transform, and when we think about our lives, how obviously perhaps not going through those same circumstances, but we think about our lives and the times that we feel that there is just no hope, and then having your faith in the God, the universe, having your faith in people, having the faith in your community, and then putting your faith and trust for you to be able to take your life, take your journey to the next level. So from my heart, thank you so much, Marie Christine, for sharing again with us. And so we go from, and I'm sorry about saying from South Africa, we're going all the way around the world here, but we are now on our way to, we are on our way to Hereford. We are on our way back to where I live. So I am not going to be talking, but I do have somebody very special who lives in my hometown that is going to be talking. And Paula, she's just I was going to say a juggernaut. I don't know why I was going to say a juggernaut, because that sounds awful, but I'm just going to say she's a juggernaut of love is what I'm going to say, because she's been through her journey. She's been through her transformation. She's had to really have trust and faith and hope. You know, she'll talk, I'm not too sure what she's going to share, but I know to be true that she really has jumped off the edge of the cliff to follow her dreams and follow what she loves. And she is just transforming. I see her behind the scenes of how she's transformed from taking action, having trust and having faith. So I'm so glad that you're with us, Paula, your first time to Hit Talks. And I now give you your 8 minutes, my love.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to be here. I think, yes, I did. I have last year and a half leapt into a world I've always wanted to be in. I'm an artist and Tai Chi instructor. I didn't know that I wanted to be a Tai Chi instructor, but art has always been part of my my feeling. That's where I want to be from a very, very young age. The only things I can remember from childhood really strongly is being outdoors, doing stuff, and enjoying the outdoors, and drawing, and making things. I was always making things as a child, youngster, and then school takes over, and then parents take over, and then life tells you what you should be doing, and the only safe way is to go and get a proper job, basically. So I became, through a sort of very convoluted way, because life is like that, you know, you don't know what the next step is. And I think as you get on with life, you realize it doesn't really matter. The thing is what is in front of you and what you want, what you feel to do next. That's the important thing. And I really tried to live life completely opposite to that, with knowing everything, controlling everything, being sure of everything before I moved, and it really didn't do me any good at all. So I really don't suggest that anyone should try that for any length of time, and basically to go back to where it feels right for you, and follow that impulse, follow that deeper sort of heartfelt feelings is the best way to go. I have never really been as happy as I am now, although I've always been known to be a bit of a smiler. It's so much more internal now, and I think there's been those steps along the way that have brought me to this path, and I am grateful for every step, even the wrong ones, even the ones that felt awful at the time, because they've made the person that I am now. And I would not be this person if I had not have, you know, overdone the trying to control things and all that stuff in the past. Yeah, it's really important to listen to yourself and to take time out and to sit in nature and just allow the brain to relax, to switch off, to just enjoy what is going on around you without any preconceptions, without trying to drive any sort of storyline over it all. And I think that's the important thing. If you try and control the story, it all gets a little bit out of hand, because the story can't be controlled that easily. And I was in a pretty bad way at one point, and I physically couldn't move. I physically, I'd got completely wound up in my head, and I really was in a pretty pretty difficult place that they didn't know how I was going to get out of it. And a friend said to me, could you please come with me to do some Tai Chi? And I went, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure, it might hurt my back, you know. And he went, no, but we want to do the numbers. And because he was a really good friend, I went, yeah, okay, I'll come with you. And I started this Tai Chi class, and I was terrified. I was treating myself like glass. I was really worried that I was going to hurt myself from doing some Tai Chi. And I couldn't have been further away from the truth. And it brought a whole new world into my sphere. And that's kind of stayed with me all the way through in the last 20 years. And it's something that it's about softness, and it's about sort of yielding, as well as being intuitive, and as well as it's kind of a dance. It's sort of like you don't have to stand there like a rock and say no. You can yield slightly and allow that energy to flow past. If that's not right for you, you can just let it go. And I think there's so much to learn from that sort of understanding of the energies of the world, the energies of the universe, that you can say, oh, let that one pass, you know. And you don't have to. There's a lot of people that come to me and they go, oh my God, if only I'd have done this, excuse my language, if only I'd have done this 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 hours ago or whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, the time is insignificant. Time is the right time. Whenever you find that path that you felt drawn to, that is the right time to start, you know. Every journey starts with one step, and taking that step sometimes can be the biggest challenge, you know, in your own head. It can be your biggest challenge. And once you start that step, and it's okay, then you can take another step. And if that's okay, you can start another step. And then suddenly this energy starts to flow, and you can, and it becomes enlightened, and it comes brilliant. And it's like being on a bicycle going downhill with your feet out by the sides and just enjoying that flow down the mountain, knowing that you're going to have to start pedaling again soon, but feeling that joy and knowing that you can get to that point again where you can have this really whiz-waz, wonderful sort of swooping kind of sensation as everything takes light and it becomes an enjoyable experience. And really, you know, it's just energy is just, it just comes and it goes and it flows, and to be part of it is the biggest thing to anybody's life. And be there now and in this moment is all you need to be. I've just got so many things to say about this, but I think that's how I would like to leave it, is the fact that take the step, enjoy the journey, and know that you're in the right place and you're doing exactly the right thing for what you need to do.
Thank you, my love. And yes, as Martin Luther King says, that you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. And that's exactly, you know, a reminder for us. And it's a reminder for us on this day of journey, which is what you do, you know. You didn't know I was going to talk about journey. This is the magic of HIT Talks. This is the magic of when we go through this whole energy and bringing everyone together, where they share their stories from their hearts with no selling and no positioning, that it just flows. The energy just flows from person to person. And I speak to the speakers behind stage and before the episode goes live, and they say, what am I going to talk about? What are the other speakers going to talk about? And I said, I have got no idea. And some people say to me, Vicky, are you mad? You're bringing people onto a platform and you don't know what they're speaking about. They could speak about anything. And I'm like, seriously? I do not attract that sort of energy into my space. And, I do not tolerate that sort of energy in my space. And I know that every single person that is part of HIT Talks is here for a special message. They're here for a special message to spread the messages of hope, inspiration, and transformation. And they do that through their journey, and they do that from the heart. And as a reminder, Paula, as you said, is that when you jump out of the aeroplane and you have a parachute and somebody to support you and a community to support you, like HIT Talks, then the fall is not a thud to the ground, and you do not have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. And when we say you don't have to see the staircase to take the first step, sometimes there's fear in life to stop you taking that first step. And who's scared of lions and tigers? Because I am not scared of lions and tigers. I love them. And I had an amazing opportunity on a couple of occasions actually, to speak in South Africa. And when I spoke in South Africa, there was an amazing couple that I met, and they invited me to their home. And they invited me to their home, as well as inviting me into their space. They also took me on safari. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like a big child. And it was so funny. We were talking earlier, and I've got the photograph. Look at that. And you can see how messed up it is, because I take it everywhere with me. This is what it means about connections. This is what it means about together is better. This is what it means about literally living your life from your heart authentically. And that's what I've always aimed to do. And then when I live my heart from my heart authentically, then the right people, they might go out of my life, but the right people always come back. And I am so pleased that Andrea and Leon, her husband, did take me on safari and in South Africa. It was just so special, and it was so great. I just had a guidance through meditation to reach out to this lovely lady. And, she literally is going to be sharing with you not just her story of how she really inspires teenagers within her community and the platforms that she uses as far as her language is concerned, but literally how she is able to transform herself as well in the process. So thank you so much for being with us, my love. And I now give you your 8 minutes.
Thank you, Vicky, for the opportunity to be on this amazing platform and to share with you all tonight. Life can be hard. Transitions are hard. And there's no two ways about it. Even though you will experience transitions throughout your life, you may not always feel like putting that welcome sign on the door that says, come help me change. That's possibly because life transitions mean change. Leaving behind what you know, what you're comfortable with, that which is familiar. I can tell you, COVID took a knock in my life, not because I got it, but because my travel business went into lockdown. And from 1 month of earning in excess of 50,000 Rand or so, I suddenly went to earning 0. And I suddenly thought, oh my word, how am I going to eat? Actually, it wasn't how I was going to eat. It was, how am I going to feed my dogs? Because I'm a passionate dog lover. So I had to think about where to go and what to do. With the last few £100 in my bank account, I sent my partner Leon off to go buy dog food. We hustled a deal with the guy we bought our food from, and within the next 2 weeks, we started a dog food side hustle. That's it, a side hustle. I had nothing else to do. We were in lockdown. We couldn't drive. We couldn't go anywhere. We organized a permit and we started delivering dog food. It's been a year. I'm still delivering dog food. I've become a specialist in biologically appropriate raw feeding for animals because people approach me and say, I've got a dog with allergies. What do I do? Transitions are not easy, but transitions are when we are living and creating the most vibrant life possible. We think on our feet. We just make things happen. We attract energy to our lives. And that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. Transitions in life can offer opportunities for discovery. discovery for passions that you didn't realize that you had. I was a veteran of the travel industry for 33 years. I love travel, but I also love animals. So for me, taking my passion and turning it into profit was a gift and an opportunity to discover a side of myself that I hadn't discovered. And I'm sure if you take a look at yourself and look deep inside and reflect on where you're at, you'll find that in this period of transition, you have abilities that you didn't know you had before. I didn't only just survive on dog food. I took the skills I'd learned on public speaking, and as a past Boy Scout leader, I took my passion for working with children and decided how many kids out there are sitting behind computer screens and they're not getting their interaction that they need. And I took my leadership training I took from Boy Scouts and my skills I learned from Toastmasters, and I put the two together, and I started a program on public speaking for future leaders. We take the opportunity for you and your children to learn how to speak confidently, how to build that little confidence, to be a leader in their school, to become a leader in their community, to build together. One of the lessons I taught with my Boy Scouts was, when you stand alone, you can break. But if you stand as a community of people, you don't break. Doesn't matter how the wind blows, how life challenges you, as a community, don't break. And so the lessons I've been teaching the future leaders in my community is to be leaders amongst themselves, but most importantly, for them to stand together and work together. Because it's the only way that we will survive in the world, is when we stand as a community and serve. And unfortunately, the world we live in now, people are very, I wouldn't say egotistical, but they're very much about, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. To be a servant leader is a gift to a community that you cannot count. And therefore, I appeal to you, look for that servant inside yourself, that servant to the community, not to be trodden on, but to be able to have the ability to later on in life look back and say, I made a difference. I made a difference in one life, 2 lives, or maybe I made a difference in a community of lives. That's what working with children does. So we've taken our platform, we've expanded it to homeschool groups in South Africa. We're busy working with a rural community at the moment with orphanages on the IRIS program to help their children just build confidence and not feel victims because they're orphans or that they've been abandoned. One small step, one small act of kindness, it's looking inside yourself. Everybody has spoken about transition and transformation. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is an act of love. Inspiration is an act of love, and transformation follows naturally. So I appeal to you, look inside yourself, find that inspiration, find that ability to transform those around you and change the world. Back to you, Vicky.
Thank you so much, my love. And did you know that there is an African proverb and it says, when there's no enemy, or do you want to mute, my love? There you go. When there is no enemy inside of you, then the enemy outside of you cannot hurt you. And that is the truth, isn't it? It's the truth of literally staying strong inside and changing from inside, as we've been saying all the way through here. And I've loved that you've discovered your passion. I love that, one thing I really took from what you were speaking about is about your attraction of energy and what you attract. And it's so true for every single one of us, as we say before, is that I will not tolerate people in my space that aren't of the right vibrational frequency. I have changed hugely over the years, and it's just something that I will not tolerate, and it doesn't come into my space anymore because of that toleration is not there. And as you quite rightly you said, Andrea, is about that it's about your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and what you attract. And yes, I think I might be contacting you about my dog as well, because she's forever ever scratching. My husband just says that's what dogs do, and she's only a year. We got her in lockdown. She's beautiful, but gosh, she's like, oh my God. So yeah, on a side note there. So anyway, before I go off piste, as they say, the next person is very special to my heart also. It seems as if I kind of have I always have amazing people in HIT Talks, always. I absolutely love it. It's my passion. It's what I've been delivered on this earth to actually do, is bring amazing people together so they can share their stories and so they can spread their light. Now, Les has been through some transformation, and he is literally, I don't want to give too much because I don't really know what Les is going to be talking about, but I've known Les for many years. And he has been a person, a transformational maker in people's lives. There is so much of his background, and I don't know if you're going to be able to go over it and all in 8 minutes, but I'm definitely going to have you back, Les. But he's been through so much, but he also helps other people go through their journey, because it's their own journey as well. And all he can do is guide them on their journey with his experiences and help them transform and inspire them for everything that he's been through. So it's so great to have you here, Les. We have a history of just amazingness, and I'm so glad that you're here all the way from Canada, let me add, of all these different countries that HIT Talks is traveling on this amazing episode of Journey, the amazing episode of travel, and the amazing episode of experience. So Les, I now give you, my friend, your 8 minutes.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Vicky. And I just would like to say how humbled I am to be on this panel. I'm normally talking at business meetings and conferences, and to hear the variety of stories that are so incredibly inspiring, I almost feel like I'm out of my depth here. So I'll do my best. But I've had an amazing life filled with some amazing achievements and some incredible failures along the way. And it's kind of been my opinion, from just my humble viewpoint, is that the greater your spirit is in this world, the more demons they send after you. Because it seems like the brighter you shine, the harder life tries to take you down. And I see that particularly today in the world. You see so many people letting their lights dim. You can just see it in their eyes. And we've gone from a worldview of hope to a worldview of much fear. And so things like this are so important. The stories I'm hearing from everyone with these incredible backgrounds where we all suffer hardships. We have the highs and we have the lows to appreciate them, to say the least. And I'd like to share something with you that took place many years, but it changed my life, actually, because to share the story, when I was very young, I wanted to be a rock and roll star. And you can probably tell I've had music in my life. I've got gold records here and guitars and things like that. But music was just an incredibly spiritual thing for me. It always has been. It's always been a tremendous passion of mine, because it's an amazing way to communicate that cuts through all the nonsense and speaks directly to the heart. But it's incredibly difficult to make it in the music business. I did play professionally until I was about 25 or 26 years old. And I'd worked with some incredible people in the musical industry. But then it was time to get real and get a real job. And I actually blew out my vocal cords at the height of my career, and I literally could not sing. And and by the way, that's a minor trauma compared to some of the stories you've all shared here today. But it was incredibly traumatic to me, because it was the death of the dream that I'd had for so long. And now I was faced with, I have to get some kind of work. And the only kind of work I was cut out to do at the time was electrical work. And unfortunately, I'm colorblind, so I could not get qualified as an electrician. So I thought, it's like every door was shutting to me. It's just, I'm like, is there any more crap you can throw at me, oh Lord? And so I found there was a job with the Postal Service, working for the government, driving a truck. And I kind of reminded of being like Elvis Presley, who was a singer and a truck driver. That was completely me. But one day I'd read a book that completely changed my life and expanded my vision. And so I decided to go to work working for an insurance company, thinking that sales should be easy. And I went from a very, very secure government job. And unfortunately, within 6 months, I was literally on the verge of bankruptcy. And I was just, as we do, I was just beating myself into the ground, just complete self-flagellation. I'm like, what have you done? You're such an idiot. You're so stupid. You know, what have you done? And you just keep going through this vicious cycle. And we start to douse the fire that's inside of us. But luckily, I had a very good friend of mine who said, you know what? I don't know why you're saying these things about yourself, because the man I see in front of me is a genius. I want you to go speak to a friend of mine. So this was in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, many, many years ago. And I was introduced to a professional football player, as we say, American style football here in Canada. And he was a huge superstar in our city. And he had won 6 championships. And he had asked me out to lunch at the whim of my friend. And we sat down for lunch, and his name was Joe Holloman. I'll always remember this gentleman. He was a great big man. He was probably, I don't know how many kilos, my metric's a little rusty, but let's say 250 pounds. And he took me out for dinner, and I said, Joe, you're such a celebrity, and I'm a nobody. Why are you here? And he said, first of all, Les, don't say that. He goes, I'm here because your friend tells me that he thinks you have great potential and that you're possibly a genius. And he said, you know what? I don't know about any of that kind of stuff because I'm just a football player. But he goes, I do know greatness when I see it. I can see it in your eyes, kid. You've got the fire in the belly. He goes, but you know what's wrong? You have not paid the price. You're not tough enough. You're not bold enough. If you really want to be a champion, if you really want to go after and become all that you were meant to be, you're going to have to pay the price that goes with it. Because anyone who has won the championship on the field has to earn their way. There are no exceptions. Nobody makes it by accident. And he said, take a look at me. I'm a big man. I'm 6'3". I weigh 250 pounds. You think it doesn't hurt when a man comes at me and strikes me who weighs 50 pounds more. And you know what happens? You get slammed to the ground with this incredible force. You hit and you break your bones. You get mud shoved up your nose so far that when you blow it out, there's nothing but blood. And then you stink and you sweat, and everything in your body tells you to don't get up again. Never get up again. Just stay down. Play it safe, because that way you won't break any more bones. He goes, but that, Les, is not how you win champions. You have to get up one more time, and then you get knocked down again. And I know this sounds like a typical cliche story, but this is a real life story. This is what he told me. And you have to get up again, and you'll get knocked down. And eventually the other guy's going to get knocked down, and you're going to get knocked down. He's going to stay down. And that one time when you get up is when you get the ring. And that lesson stayed with me literally my entire life. I found that every time that I was going through tremendous difficulty, whether it was building my investment business or building my music career or becoming a professional speaker, every time I was ready to break down, I was on the verge of a breakthrough. And it's like every time you go to rise as a great spirit in this world, there are going to be plenty of people there to try and drag you down and remind you that you're nothing special. But this is insanity. We have this in our culture. You know, can you imagine we telling children, you know, hey, keep it down there. Don't stand out. Don't make too much noise. Don't make such a fuss. It's ridiculous, because I see here, we're in spring right now in Canada, and my wife's tulips are blooming. We have 116 tulips in our front yard. And could you have ever imagined saying to one tulip, listen, Tone it down a bit, will you? You're shining too brightly. You're embarrassing the other tulips. You're making them look bad. And this is ridiculous. I have always believed that our mission in life is to take this great spirit and soul inside of us, and our job is to bloom and shine as brightly as brightly as we possibly can. This is our job. It's our God-given gift. And so thank you so much. Go forth and spread what you're doing today. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. And you are our tulip. So that's what we're going to think of you now, as a tulip, the bright shining tulip that has been on Hit Talks to share that really inspirational message. Now, how many of us have actually been told, or even told ourselves, you know, these little devils that we have on our shoulder, you know, we have an angel on one side perhaps one day and a devil on the other, nat, 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 in our ears, that you are a nobody or you're not able to do something. And I'm sure every single one of you watching the live, watching the replay, or the special ones in the Zoom room have actually been through that experience of actually feeling or being told that you're not good enough. And to have the courage to come through that feeling, come through that message that's being put into your energy field, does take transformation. But when you've got the right people, as I say, or when you're in the right space, then it really does help. And as you say, Les, insanity, what's the definition of sanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same returns. And the more that we step into being on episodes like Hit Talks and coming on to Hit Talks, where we can listen about all these amazing stories of inspiration and hope and transformation, we will tell you, we will share with you, and we will make sure that you do not believe that you are a nobody, because we are doing this all together in this new world of spreading hope, inspiration, and transformation. And when we talk about doing things together, and what I liked about what you said, Les, as well, about the children, because, you know, this is something that I'm passionate about with the mother and daughter work that I do as well, is that the way that the society, as you know, I'm sure we'll all understand this, the way society has led that children should be seen perhaps and not spoken to, or they shouldn't daydream and look out the window, you know, they should concentrate. You know, where is their energetic spirit? It's being knocked down. And when you actually then give the children the inspiration, because, you know, that's a little bit of a plug, because we are doing Hit Talks Young Generation, Hit Talks Next Gen. So, but when we give them the inspiration for them to be able to live their lives, love themselves, as we've said many times during this episode, and believe in themselves, then that's how we can help transform the next generation as well. And this is what our next speaker is doing as well, but from a very earlier stage, because she's helping mothers and daughters and mothers and babies through the transition of breastfeeding. And it's quite a unique thing that she's doing, but knowing Gabriella as well, and everything that she's doing to support women, I would say more than a midwife, but like being a guardian angel, putting her angel wings around these women to help them live in their own being, to help them believe in themselves, to help the women believe that perhaps they're not a nobody once they've actually, you know, had a child. And she's doing so much amazing things in the world. And we're going to another country. So we're traveling now to Romania. I should have had a globe, shouldn't I? So I can actually then just move us around. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much, my love, for being on your first episode of Hit Talks. And now I give you your 8 minutes to share your message on hope, inspiration, and transformation. Do you want to unmute yourself, love?
Let's now.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for the amazing introduction, Vicky. I remember meeting you in Costa Rica in the quantum healing training, and I was looking up to you. I was like, oh my gosh, she has everything so perfect, and she knows it, and her spine is how it should be and everything. And now talking to you, it's and being in this project of yours is absolutely amazing for me, because I raised up to your energy. So thank God. So it's really a long story. My life is a really long story. I will try to summarize it in this 8 minutes that I have, I will start talking about this question that I got. I was in Las Vegas, I think 3 years ago, in a training, and the person that was giving us the training asked a question pretty much at the beginning of it. He was like, how long have you waited to share what you are willing to share with the world, what you want to give back to the world? And everyone there was like 3 months, 1 year, 3 years. And it just popped in my mind. I was 36 and my number just popped in my mind. I was like 33 years. 33 years, because when I got into the coaching business, one of my first experiences was seeing my light, seeing myself closing my light being that higher power that everyone talked about tonight, being God, being intuition, being whatever you want to call it. For me, it was light. I literally saw myself like a flashlight, putting my light on people, and the world was gray. And I was just putting my light on people and people would not see it. And basically, when I was 3, my parents divorced. And that was the moment when I closed my light. And I was like, I need to be gray like them. So they will see me and they will listen to me. But that was just me losing myself for a very long time. Because life happened in a very interesting way. I was put in an orphanage when I was 11, and I've been there until my high school finished. And then I moved to the capital city. I put myself through university because my parents could not do that for me. I had to pay my rent. I have to pay my university. I had to pay everything for myself. And I put myself through university. And then everything I've done, I did it so I can be happy, no, like everybody else. And just that, growing up without a model of happiness, without seeing someone happy around me, because I was born in a communist country and it was the revolution when I was 7 years old. Money really lost their value. Like the whole country, everything changed. The whole culture changed when I was 7 years old. So around me, it was just like people that are like now in this virus situation, like they literally have no idea what's going to happen. That was when I was 7 years old, and that's the environment I grew up in. And I did not see happy people around me. I seen worried people, I seen hurt people, I seen aggressive people, I've seen anything but happy people. So I had no idea how to make myself happy. And I ended up making some decisions that were not really in my favor at the moment. But then that's how I learned that life doesn't happen against you, it happens for you. And I became a mother, and oh my God, like my hands are shaking for what I'm about to say, because the first night that I was alone in the hospital room with my son, I was holding my son in my hands, and I realized that that little human was about to be as happy as I am. And there was this voice in my head saying that if you put out everything you've done, because I made it in the corporate world, I had the jobs, I had the money, I was traveling with not my business then, with my job and stuff like that. And that voice in my head was, if you put aside your curriculum, your professional curriculum, who are you? So then I will be able to ask, how happy are you? And I realized that moment that I had no idea who I was. And it was mind-blowing at that moment. And then life continued to happen, and I got divorced. And then I was 33, 34, and I got homeless out of that divorce. And I got my child taken away from me. And I was a lactation consultant, and like I lost everything. I had literally, I felt like a game of Lego with all the pieces spread on the floor. I was nothing. And the only thing I knew how to do was this winning breastfeeding thing that people kept coming to me for, because I was a lactation consultant and I managed to stop breastfeeding my child at a point where I felt I'm done. There's not that much literature on the matter, so I had to come up with my own way to do it. And that was being honest to my son. And I developed a process around it. And starting that moment 5 years ago, I have a 22K community in my country. I've been working with more than 2,000 mothers. And basically, exactly like you said, Vicky, at the beginning, I'm the wings that they forgot they have. And I guide them through this process. And this process was my healing journey, because when I started doing this, when I realized I'm going to become a coach, I was like, I'm going to be a men's coach, because it's easy to work with men. They have their boxes and it's easy to work with them. And you got instant results. And I was like, I'm going to be a men's coach. But this kept coming to me, and I became a mom's coach. And I was doing this process. And at the beginning, they will share with me the relationship they have with their kids, the realization of how compliant and good kids they have when they are true to themselves and when they look at themselves first. And I was like crying with one eye because I did not have access to my own child. And I was laughing with the other eye for the happiness that I managed to get to this point in my life where I discovered that actually being happy and making myself happy is actually coming from the way I make other people feel. I was running for jobs. I was running for physical stuff. I was running for positions, for everything in order to make myself happy. But actually I discovered in my path and in working with people that happiness comes from the way you make other people feel, the impact, the happiness you generate in people. And my Winning Breastfeeding program and my other programs have the tagline, first, make yourself happy. Look what are the things that make you happy and go chase those things that make you happy. And those things will get you to your next level. Those things will bring your tribe to you. Those things will make your life worthwhile. Those things will make everything that you did wrong or everything that happened to you like the golden nugget of your life. So first, make yourself happy. And these are my minutes. Thank you so much for having me, Vicky, and for letting me share this with the world.
You are so welcome. And I want to really give kudos to you and to everybody that's watching this, because Gabriella was so nervous. Because the thing is about HIT Talks as well, it's not about having professional speakers on here. It's about having people that really have a story and giving them the platform to be able to share. You've done an absolutely amazing job. You've really touched hearts. And I really want to congratulate you, because I know how you were feeling backstage and I know how you were feeling before. And as I say, if there is just a message that we can touch, if there's just a message that we can share, if there's just a message that we can spread, which is what we're all doing. And now you can breathe with a big pat on your back and say thank you so much for sharing, because one of the big messages that you've given everybody watching this live, watching the replay and in the Zoom room is that life does not happen to you, it happens for you. And once we appreciate that, and once we have the strength and the community, hey, that's a plug, the community to actually help you through that, then you don't really have to be alone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, it has just gone so fast. All of these 8 amazing speakers, as I say, we have traveled from Mumbai to Canada, to Belgium, to South Africa, to Queensland, to Romania, to the UK, so many places. And when we're actually thinking about just the journey that we've had around the world, the journey of messages of hope, the journey of messages of inspiration, the journey of messages of transformation. That is what we're about. So please come and join us in any single episode of Hit Talks that you wish. Please come and join us in the Zoom room as well, because when we close this broadcast, all the people in the Zoom room and the speakers, we have chit chats. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes, because you may not be here. You might be watching the live or the replay, not in the Zoom room. So yeah, join us in the Zoom room next time and see what happens behind the Hit Talk scene. But the next Hit Talks is on the 11th of May, and we are going to be sharing again from the heart stories of hope, inspiration and transformation. Every single speaker that we bring on here is here because they want to make a difference in the world, and that is what we are about. We're here to make a difference in the world. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank again every single speaker that's joined us. I would like to thank everybody watching the live and the replay, and of course everyone in the Zoom room. Please share this. Please share this broadcast with your friends and your family, because there definitely is going to be some nugget that is going to be able to help somebody. And in 8 minutes, then I lost my words. Then in 8 minutes, we are really going to make a difference. As you know, with Hit Talks, it's not structured. We just come from the heart. That's my excuse. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Vicky Thomas. I'm your founder and host of Hit Talks, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode.